Hey there, welcome to RestoCycle. We got a little mini tech for you here. So this is a perfectly nice serviceable airbox off of a 79 or an 80 CBX. We actually need it for that motorcycle, which is about to get put back together. But that's not a suitable finish for a bike that we're trying to make look great. We're not really restoring that bike. That's a crash project, but even still, it's got to look great when we give it back, and that's not going to cut it. That bike had a ProLink airbox on it, which is incorrect for it, and it doesn't fit right. So we're going to restore it with one of these boxes from our own stash. So how are we going to fix this? This is actually clean. It's been through our aqueous parts washer, and the intake manifolds here are really pretty good. They're not cracked. They're in good shape, so we're going to use them. But we need to restore this surface in particular that faces out to a nice, even, smooth black finish. So how are we going to do that? The answer in this case is we're going to wet sand it. We have done a lot of good projects restoring old black plastic with the vapor blaster, but there's just too many places for media to clog in here that we can't get to. So we wouldn't put this in the vapor blaster. It's just a little too problematic to get it clear. So this one we're going to do by hand. So the trick to wet sanding, if it is being willing to make a giant mess. This is a bucket of warm water. There's just a couple of drops of Dawn in it. And I'm going to take this stool over here. I'm going to put that bucket between my feet, and then I'm going to go to town. So I'll show you how we do it. So you can do this over the sink if you have to, but this is going to be there for a while. So you're going to see a one-handed wet sanding job. So it's not super complicated. We're going to put the part in here. We're going to start with the coarser of these two, a 320 grit wet dry paper. And wet dry is important or it'll fall apart. The idea is this is a waterproof paper and it's going to hold together while we use it. And so we start with a clean part. We don't want to take dirty, grimy stuff and smear it around. We want to really just remove an outer layer of the surface in a very controlled manner without screwing up the definition of these lines and details. So, very simply, we switch hands. We dip the paper in the water, make sure it's nice and clean, and then holding our hand nice and flat and evenly, we're going to go over this surface like so. And quite obviously, we are just going to remove the outer layer of this punky old plastic and reveal nice new plastic beneath, which we have a couple options on how we proceed once we get to that. But periodically, gotta keep the paper clean, get the debris off that we're using. The water acts as a lubricant, keeps the part, sloughs the material off, much like the vapor blaster, I suppose. It sloughs the material that we're sanding right back off and allows us to get a nice, perfect finish. So as we go, I'll take a couple of snaps as I go because this is pretty hard to demonstrate with one hand. But I'm going to keep my hand really flat and even, put nice even pressure on the part. And then when I've done most of the heavy lifting with this coarser grain, this is the 320, I'm going to switch to that 600. And I might stop there if we decide to paint this, but I can go as high as 1000. I don't think there's much point in going higher, and that will result in a really nice, new, perfect looking finish. So we'll show the result of this in a comment after this post, but this is the process of how we restore old plastic air boxes and similar parts when we know they're a good solid part, but they just look bad. Okay, thanks for checking us out. Bye-bye.